G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Sporting in on the northeast side of the map, playing as the French in the colour pink. It's Don Hardy. I'm not going to say the real name of Don Hardy, but, well, you guys know exactly why that is. And on the southeast side of the map, or rather southwest side of the map, playing as the Holy Roman Empire in the colour red. He's not playing as the Deli, but his name is Smelly Deli. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Prairie. We're here ready to witness two of the best players in the world going up against each other. Don Hardy, I don't know what rank he is at the moment, but you know, in my heart, he's number one. Well, actually, I should be careful. My mum watches this, and I think occasionally so does my fiance. So Don Hardy, you're number 1, 3, 4. You're about number 6, Don. That's where I can put you. But let's talk a little bit about this game, because I reckon we're going to have a wonderful cracker of a game right here. Don Hardy, obviously a guy who likes to take the meta and turn it on its head. I suspect he's probably going to be doing it again here today, up against a Holy Roman Empire player. Now, this matchup as the French is considered pretty good. This is a favourable matchup, something that you can expect to win a little bit more than a standard matchup. Let's say you're playing against the English or playing against the Rus as an example. You're probably going to go like 50-50 as the French, but against the Holy Roman Empire, you're going to win a lot more. Not a lot more, but you're going to win a fair bit more. And largely that's because the Holy Roman Empire player doesn't spend enough time in the feudal age. One of the key weaknesses of the Holy Roman Empire is if they go straight to castle age, they don't have any units whatsoever to defend any kind of castle age timing that they want to be going for. I should probably rephrase that. They don't have any units to defend any feudal units coming from the French player, and as a result, their castle age is a lot weaker, just because they lose a lot of the tempo. So hopefully what we're going to be seeing from Smelly Deli today is a little bit more time in the feudal age. Now, I suspect we probably will, largely because he's actually a very good player. This guy is currently ranked 9 on the ladder. So Don Hardy definitely going to be a little bit, I'm not going to say out of his depth or, you know, outmatched, outgunned or anything like that, but when it comes to consistency, Smelly Deli is doing very well to be that high on the ladder. But we're right on board with Don because the landmark is about to go down. It doesn't look like it's going to be any Chamber of Commerce shenanigans. It's going to be the School of Cavalry, and I think this is pretty smart, right? Like, it's the same sort of concept with the Malians in my mind, as you could go the Chamber of Commerce here, because I genuinely think that trade is the future of the French. I think that French trade is just such a great way to guarantee a lead in the late game. You know, we often talk about who has the strongest late game, and French is normally at the bottom tier, but what you need to consider is how fast you get there as well. The Holy Roman Empire, they get there very, very quickly to the late game. Normally. Some cases they don't. But the French, they're going to be getting there very quickly with trade. But if you go for the School of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce, you're telegraphing your strategy. You're telling to your enemy, hey, I'm going for the trade strategy. I'm going trade. You know, come on, shut me down. Whereas if you open School of Cavalry, you get that free stable, so you don't even have to think about dropping down that stable. And by the same token, you've always got that knight ready to come out immediately, at least almost immediately. Now, over on the other side of the map, we'll take a look at the Ark and Chapel as it gets dropped down. Now, I think we should probably wait and see the area of effect for this Ark, and it can be a little bit hard to tell on Prairie because you do sit up quite high. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's this kind of like this little kind of mountain, not mountain, a bit of a hill that you sit on here on the spawn point, which gives you a defensive bonus as well. Obviously, you want the high ground just so that you've got more line of sight. But I'm wondering if that actually affects the ring or the radius of the Ark and Chapel. I suspect it probably doesn't. But I'm assuming that this is going to be hitting the gold vein. Obviously, it hits all the town center, and I think it should hit the very front of the lumber camp. And if that's the case, this is a pretty good Ark and Chapel. I'm going to be calling this one probably close to probably an 8. Maybe even an 8. I can't go an 8.5. 8.5 is entering very good territory. But speaking of good territory, Don Hardy about to be dropping down that knight. You can see he's just about to click over it. There he goes now. So 4 minutes 15 is when that one goes in queue. He's got 14 sheep underneath the town center. Oh, Lord, it's happening. It's happening. I'm like, what is this dot out here? I thought Don went for a single scout, and he did go for a single scout, but it looks like he's going to be going for a double market. I mean, technically, a triple market. It is going to be trade coming out from Don, so no real surprise there. Now, does Smelly Deli see this? Smelly Deli sees it, and look, he's looking for the trade. He knows that, well, he might not know that it's Don Hardy, but he knows the map. He knows that the likelihood of French going trade is very high, and here you go. This is it. He already spots it out, and he specifically hides his scout from Don. You know, most people would be attacking the villager, but here, Smelly Deli allows himself that element of surprise. that Don is not going to be expecting. And we do, as a result, see a spearman coming out immediately. This spearman going to be looking to cover the mining camp. But we do see, yeah, see, it just falls a little bit short. This was my fear, that it's going to fall a little bit short of the lumber camp. So, yeah, I'm going to have to, like, put this down to probably, like, a 5, maybe even, like, a 4, really. It just, not having the lumber camp really hurts, because this one lumber camp, if you can get this in, it's the entire forest, right? Like, you don't need to put a second one down as the Holy Roman Empire. Spearman does come through. Looks like it's going to be able to repel for the moment. Now, we did also see a stable coming down, so perfect opening coming through from Smelly Deli. This is exactly what you want to do. Sometimes the French, depending on their opening, can look to hit you with an early archer as well as an early knight, and then look to put an outpost down on your gold, because this is a large gold vein. So you want to try your best to secure this, and the fact that he's gone for the stable is really good. Now, keep in mind, he's also now spotted out this scout over here. So Don's going to know that Smelly Deli knows. So he's going to have to be on the defensive. And speaking of the defensive, we do see already those traders are out. Attacked at the moment by Warwick. He's on the backside here in the jungle, just looking for some neutral creeps. But unfortunately, there's a couple traders that are going to be heading his way instead. Horseman already heading to the other side of the map. So really good job by Smelly Deli to immediately recognize this. And I think the question always comes to whether you can stop the French, or not the French trade, but just the trade in general, right? And this is part of the reason why I genuinely think French trade is going to be the best trade there is in the game. Now, if you look on paper, okay, you're going to be saying, okay, well, obviously that's not the case. Stronger, you know, Malian trade is the best, then the Ottoman trade, then the Mongol trade, and then the Abbasid trade, then the French trade. If you go Chamber of Commerce, yeah, I mean, if we're talking resources, if we're talking like investment, all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of variables. But the reason why French trade is this right here, this knight. This knight is what makes French trade so good, because a single horseman comes out. Now, any other civ is going to have to be dealing with this horseman using its own horsemen or using spearmen to intercept, but the French can chase it with knights. And that might not seem like a big deal, but what it means is that horseman, his life is limited. And had Don been there a little bit earlier, it would have meant that the horseman traded its life for a single trader. Now, you want to know the good thing about trading your life for a single trader? Well, unfortunately, there's not much, because a trader is very, very easily replaced, whereas a stable, which takes plenty of time to actually make a horseman, well, you're going to be losing your mass from that. So Don's very happy with that, but we do see already Spearman moving across, heading towards, is he going to be going to the north? Now, interestingly, he could actually just look to hit the market instead. But, oh my lord, look at the spears come through. Don Hardy not paying attention. He could have looped it back around, but he didn't. Oh my lord. Smelly Deli could have looped that scout back around and could have got a double tag on that Royal Knight if Don wasn't paying attention. But it looks like he was paying attention, pulled it back. And look at the units just going across the map, and take a look at behind this. Smelly Deli just going absolutely ham. Going to be looking at age up here as well. What upgrades have we got from Smelly Deli? It doesn't even look like much. He's going to go for Regnants as well. So already very, very greedy, but at the same time, I think this is the right play. And I love the way that Smelly Deli's done this. Just enough units to put out pressure. And now we see a stable coming down. So it looks like he's going to be fighting knights, which is the correct play here. As Smelly Deli, he needs to be going into knights. He needs to be able to match the mobility of the knights. And with that, he should be able to shut down the French trade. He's already put out enough pressure here. He's taken out one of the traders. It looks like he's going to be able to intercept the rest of them. But we do see a 1-1-1 going to be coming out here from Don Hardy. This is something that we normally see from players like Give You Anxiety. He loves opening with the 1-1-1. Almost patented the 1-1-1 opening. In fact, I think he did actually patent the 1-1-1 opening. I did see an application for that. I have to double check what the number was, but Smelly Deli doing a decent job. Now, where's Don at with regard to his trader numbers? He's on 6 traders at the moment, but he's making more. So he's up to 8 now. Remember these bad boys. Now, one of the other things to note about French trade is at the moment they're on food, or rather on gold, but at any moment they could go to food. And you might not be thinking that's a big deal, but let me explain to you why it's such a massive idea. You see this gold vein? There's 8,000 gold in here. This gold vein ain't going anywhere. It's sticking right here. So I submit to you that Don, instead of keeping his traders the entire game on gold, will actually switch them over to food, simply because it's easier for him to mine gold with villagers and leave his traders on food, because the French do have that as a bonus. Now, we do hear a ball being taken in the middle of the map. The French do have that as a bonus, that they're able to switch which resource they want. I'm sure you guys will remember playing plenty of FFA, and you've got French trade the entirety of the map, and you're pulling in 500 stone and 500 wood. Good old days, aren't they? Good old days. But you can't pick up stone anymore. It's only food and it's only wood that you can get. Once again, Smelly Deli going to be looking to apply some pressure to this trade line. Don Hardy not actually going to be securing the trade line. And this is a ballsy way to play it. I'm personally not a fan of this, but Don Artie, he's a free spirit. You can't really slow him down. You just gotta let him be Don. But it looks like the trader also going to be going down. So Don losing a couple of traders already. He's down to 7 traders. These guys probably going to be losing their life as well. Now, keep in mind, trader is marked as cavalry. Spearmen do not get their bonus damage versus cavalry. That was changed by the developers. They didn't lose their tag. Not sure exactly why that was, but this is an intended change. This is to make traders harder to counter, because you used to be able to just march 3 spearmen over to here and just one-shot every trader that came in. And, well, yeah, the traders weren't too happy about that. But it looks like this one trader, he's not going to make it either. 5 traders remaining at the moment. And I like Don's style that he's very all in. He's like, I must get to the market. Speaking of market going to be under pressure. I think this market will go down as well. So Don really having a lot of trouble. Now, behind this, I feel like Smelly Deli's doing everything right at this point in the game. Okay, so we've seen him go up to Castle Age. We see Springald emplacement coming through on an outpost that's defending the gold mine. He's gone for Knights, which is definitely the correct play once again. And he's also looking to pick up relics. Now, he doesn't have any relics in the bag just yet, but the first one is about to be picked up. Second one, no sign of it just yet. But obviously, he's got the outpost as well as the Regnits, so he's got space for 4. And now the Knight's going to be heading out. Take a look at this. Looks like the market did eventually go up. I apologize for not showing you this, but it's not really that relevant, right? Like, these guys dying, it's not relevant. What's relevant, and there we do see the walls. What's relevant is the strategic position that Smelly Deli finds himself in right now, because the issue that he's got is that his enemies made spears, and this is not common for a French player. And the reason why he's got spears is because of the horsemen. So you've kind of set yourself up here. I remember Don actually telling me one thing once. He's like, you know the trick to Delhi? The trick to Delhi is you don't make... What did he say? He said something like, the trick to Delhi is you don't make cavalry, because if you make cavalry, your enemy's going to make spears. And if they make spears, then they're going to have the counter to your knights, which you're going to make huge amounts of. I think it was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, Don's thinking, you know, at the moment, Smelly Deli's playing checkers, Don's playing chess, and he's playing it in the 4th dimension. He's pretty big now. Sacred Site, looking to get captured, but oh, poor Prelate, he came to the wrong neighborhood. At the same time, up towards the north, Archer's doing a decent job of holding back these knights. Spearmen also going to be here. The wall's continuing to come up for Don. Don did lose some villagers up towards the north, and we do see so far that Smelly Deli has killed 15 workers now. Those workers largely going to be traders. So they're kind of like, traders are much of a muchness. That's the way at least I would explain it in Australian English. They're much of a muchness. It's like, you lose a trader, you make a trader. You lose a trader, you make a trader. You lose villagers, you make a villager, but guess what? Your enemy made another villager. So at this point, like, for Don, the sky is the limit. Whereas for Smelly Deli, he's got 1 TC. He's got a Regnitz Cathedral as well, but, you know, the main focus here is the TC. So anyway, both players looking to expand their economies at the moment, but keep in mind, Don is sitting on a pretty hefty military population. And I love the fact that Don's actually moved into walls, because this just tells you a lot about the importance of walls. If you can convince Don Artie that walls are a good thing, then you've got a pretty sound argument. I tell you what, if you convince Don Artie that the world is flat, the world is going to be flat, because this guy, it takes a lot to convince him. He's continuing to expand on those wood lines, moving further and further out, looking for those traders, and it looks like you will find them. You always want to be focusing down the traders that are going back, rather than the ones that are, or I should say the ones that are carrying gold, rather than the ones that aren't carrying gold. Don still chasing away and moving forward with his large army. So military composition that we've got here, this is kind of calling for men-at-arms, right? Like you see this many spears, this many archers, and you're like, yeah, just get some men-at-arms. That'll deal with it. Like 6 men-at-arms will clean this up easily. And that's exactly what we see from Smelly Deli now. But he does have his barracks on the front line. Keep in mind, he's got emergency repairs, so he should be fine. Springald emplacement will also hold this down very easily. So it's going to be tough for Don to push this position. Not really going to get much, maybe a little bit of idle time, but that's it. I wouldn't be surprised if Don does concede that position, which it looks like he's doing. But up towards that north side, we do see more knights coming through. And this is what makes the French so strong, because they can now defend against the knights as well with their own knights. Now, obviously, they're losing out some of their traders, but remember, he's getting free units here, right? Because these traders, he's just making these traders for free. I say for free, but I mean, when you think about the gold that they're bringing in, it's kind of for free. These guys, if they make it all the way to the end, they pay for themselves. That's the best way to think about it, and they give you a little bit in the pocket. But relics getting taken slowly and steadily. We see that at the moment, 2 relics have been taken so far by Smelly Deli. And now Don moves around the backside at the knight numbers. Look at the knight numbers. My lord, look at the knight numbers. That's starting to be a worrisome amount of knights. And now Don going to be caught a little bit by surprise, just as I was. Men-at-arms, nowhere to be seen here, but that's okay. He's going to look to try and focus down the spearmen. That's going to be the main force here. But at the same time, Archer's looking to try and cause havoc. And Don just realizes, you know what, I'm going to lose everything here. I might as well just try and do some damage. Unfortunately for him, everything seems to be evacuated pretty well. He does get a couple of villagers, though, on the tree line. So well done to Don for that. Smelly Deli on the defense, and he's got a very solid position now that he can bring in. Knight numbers continuing to increase. Don up to 10 knights. Smelly Deli also on 10. Remember that they're Castle Age knights, so they're a little bit better. Lanchconnect getting focused down. You can see he's red and yellow. Ronald McDonald looking motherfucker. Sorry. Sorry, I shouldn't have. Sorry, YouTube algorithm. I didn't mean to. But we see the prelates starting to stack up as well. He's up to 3 prelates. Can look to start picking up relics as well here. Now that he's got some decent map control, Smelly Deli. And I love that the grind for relics here has been slow, right? He didn't go all out. He didn't go ham. He didn't go and look to collect every single relic. He said, we're going to take it slow. We're going to make it happen. I'm pretty sure, was that a battlecruiser line? Take it slow. Make it happen. Yamato Cannon online, I think it was. Smelly Deli, though, overextending and getting caught out by Don's superior numbers. Now, Don, I mean, he's got superior numbers on this screen, but when you take a look at what Smelly Deli's running behind the blocks, apparently he's got more stuff back there as well. I just don't know where it is. Is it chilling out in his base somewhere? Is it bugged? Why is it saying that he's got so many military units? Where's his military? It says he's got 12 military units. Oh, it's the prelates! Oh, is it the prelates? Yeah, the prelates. Look, 4 prelates. So he doesn't really have that big of a military. I mean, a prelate's technically a military unit, right? You see how war has been waged over this last few thousand years? 2,000 years? 1,400 years? You know what I'm thinking about. Crusaders out there. 3rd relic coming in, though. And now it's starting to get serious for Smelly Deli, right? Because he's made it to where he wants to be. This is prime Holy Roman Empire territory. This is where they're comfortable. But you got to remember, this ain't a standard game. Because the French player, he didn't open 2 TCs. He didn't open 1 TC. He opened triple market, and that's a big difference because everything you know about a matchup, take it and throw it out the window because trade is involved. Now, Don's obviously suffering a little bit here. Fortunately, yet to research his textiles. We see Bloomery now coming in, which is going to mean 2-shotting these villagers here. Couple more knights moving onto the gold mine, and Don going to be throwing down another stable. Should be an indicator of the intention of Don. And Smelly Deli should know that, okay, it's probably going to be a Castle Age. Whenever I see my enemy dropping down more stables, I'm like, okay, it's going to be Castle Age coming. Right? Well, not at the moment. Don's still sticking it out in the Feudal Age. Spots another stable. That's going to be the 4th stable he sees here. So that's a lot of stables coming up for Don. Is that all the stables he's got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it is. But Smelly Deli's still managing to keep it above board for the moment. More villagers going down. He's doing a great job. Look at this. Up to 29 worker kills right now. I mean, how much more could have he done? I think that's the question, right? And we see him at the moment, like, in the wood line, but I do feel like he could have applied more pressure onto this, onto the trade line. You know, as I say that, he's literally applying pressure onto the trade line. But like, he's done an incredible job at this point in the game to kill traders. He's been relentless with it. And his macro has been impressive behind it also. He's taken 3 relics. He's going to be looking to pick up the 4th relic now. You can see him working over towards that side of the map. Obviously has discovered it. Started out with that double scout opening. So has plenty. Big charges coming through. He's got to be careful not to lose that knight. Beautiful. Do you see that way that he charged and just like, he's basically doing hit and run here. We'll get this one trader though, for sure. But this is what he needs to be doing. Just running 2 knights constantly like that into his enemy side. But look at this. Men-at-Arms coming in. Now, these guys do have their heavy maces upgrade. An extra 6 damage. But the numbers from Don looking very solid. He's up to 17 knights. Remember, these are only feudal knights. But feudal knights, hey, they're better than no knights, that's for sure. But look at the numbers. The Lanchconnect was in there the whole time, just swinging his baton. I mean, I say a baton. It's technically a Zweihander, which I'm pretty sure is German for big sword. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. It means large sword. Yes. It's I hope you guys like that. That took a turn for the worse. But, I mean, at this point, as I said, like, everything you know about this matchup, throw it out the window. Because from here, we're in completely unexplored territory. Because it's trade. We just don't know... and this is what makes trade so hard. Is because you can't account for villager losses, for worker losses. Because, yeah, it looks bad. Don's lost 39 villagers. Yeah, but he's up 15 vills. So it's not that terrible. And remember, the villagers that he's up are traders. And traders are worth 1.5 villagers. So that number is really much higher. We take a look right now. He's up 26. So make that 39. So an extra 13 vills on top of that. So call it 85 villages. Technically a 30 vill lead here. But then, of course, consider the relics that we've got coming down at the Regnitz Cathedral. He's got 3 in the bag at the moment, which are also going to be contributing the equivalent of 12 villages. You guys get the point, right? It's just so hard to calculate positions in a game like this. Obviously, you've got score, which gives an indication, and does indicate that Don is up at the moment, despite being down in age. And that is definitely something that would be scaring the bejeebers out of Smelly Deli if he knew. Down towards the south side. We're right on board with him. And I think the question now becomes, Smelly Deli, after he picks up this 4th relic, which, by the way, he still hasn't looked to pick up, which is kind of crazy. I'm hoping that this prelate is going to realize that, hey, I should probably get that relic. 4 relics out of 5 ain't bad. 3 out of 5, it's you know, it's par for the course. 3 out of 5. 4 out of 5, you're hitting a birdie. 5 out of 5, that's a hole in one, baby. So we do see it looks like he's going to be able to pick this one up, which is very, very good. But now the question becomes, when Imperial? You know, often we ask this question, when Imp? Well, now is the answer. But you've got to be so careful of this timing attack. Look at the numbers coming out from Don. How do you hold on against these relentless French knights? Because that's what it is, and he's throwing more knights in, just into the grinder. This isn't the wise move that it appears to be. This is Don's playing for keeps right now, and Smelly Deli needs to be careful because Don's in a really good position. Now, once again, I mentioned the concept or the question of Imp. Imp would make sense if Smelly Deli had an army, but I mean, I don't call the men-at-arms army. I mean, technically they do pretty well against knights. I mean, you guys would have seen the 3v3s and the 2v2s that we casted where men-at-arms were able to repel the knights. But I think this is a different ball game. You're talking about a French economy that is just popping off right now. He's able to put all of his resources towards units. He's up to 16 knights. He's going to be looking for a Royal Institute right now. And with the Royal Institute, you know what's going to be coming after that? It's going to be Royal Bloodlines. It's going to be Cantled Saddles. It's going to be Chivalry if he hasn't already picked it up, which, judging by the fact his knights aren't healing, I amend my previous statement. Judging by the fact that his knights are healing, and once again, another questionable decision by Smelly Deli. I don't know exactly what the plan is here. Just throwing away more units. I think he's looking to try and challenge the trade, but I think at this point, it's not necessarily about challenging the trade, but rather keeping up with the trade, trying to get yourself to the Imperial Age. But then we come back to the whole new question. This is what I was talking about, where it's kind of like I'm pulling my hair out here trying to understand this matchup. This is all unexplored. Let's say you get Imperial with the Holy Roman Empire. What's to stop the French player from just going to Imp as well? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many resources coming in right now for Don Artie. It's ludicrous. We take a look at these traders. It looks like they're actually on food. So you can see right now that's going to be a drop-off of 177 food that's coming in. And this is what we were talking about earlier on in the game. Now, I suspect, is he on gold? Let's have a look and see. Where are those villagers at? He's actually got 0 villagers on gold for the moment. So he's just relying on traders that are on gold, but he's moved a lot of them over onto food. And you can use this food. I mean, you want to have some units? Go for it. You want to age up to the Imperial Age? Go for it. But now, Don, he's on 32 traders. And this is where it starts to get real serious. Because, as we mentioned before, let's say you get Imperial. Let's say you get the Regnitz down. And let's say you survive with the Regnitz down. You get to your elite upgrades. Well, Don Artie, he's right behind you. And his economy is, you know, huge compared to yours. Probably sitting at about 1.5 euro economy. And he's just going to be able to overwhelm you with numbers. He's got the Royal Bloodlines upgrade already, so he doesn't need to worry. As soon as that elite upgrade comes in, he's going to be looking for a fight. And, yeah, it's not going to be pretty. But we do now see Arbitratria in queue for Don. So looking to mix it up slightly, appreciating the fact that his enemy might be going into Lanchknechts and Spears. If there's a Lanchknecht Spear mix, then you're in a bit of trouble. But we do see Wheelbarrow coming through right now for Smelly Deli. A little bit late on the Wheelbarrow. The 23-minute Wheelbarrow. It's probably a little bit later than most would consider optimal. But we do see Don looking to come down. Got to be looking for that Royal Bloodlines timing attack, and that's exactly what he looks for. Coming in now. This French strategy is absolutely something else. So you hear it come in right there. All of the knights just kind of did a rejig, and they all get that extra health. From 230 health up to 310. A couple of knights also going to be looking to attack villagers. He's pumping out plenty of units here, but Smelly Deli is holding on from the defensive, but never count out these knights. These knights are going to fall back. They're going to regroup. They're going to heal up, and they're going to be back with more of their buddies, more of their friends. And this is where it gets so hard because the numbers right now from Don, this is where the trade starts to kick in. And look how many knights he's got as the reinforcements come in. Arbitratria looking to back it up. Remember that Arbitratria counter effectively both of these units here. So now Don's running double counter against this, and Smelly Deli Deli going to be on the defensive. He's trying his best to hold on, but it's not looking pretty. The numbers here for Don, incredibly strong. He's overwhelmed his enemy. He's got knight superiority, and now he's going to be able to camp the base. Once he gets in over onto the Ark and Chapel, it's pretty much good game because the food economy is going to slow to a crawl. The units are going to stop coming out from the buildings, and that is going to be all she wrote. Now those knights finally make their way into villages. Eventually have to make their way back to the town center. They try their best to find somewhere to stay alive for a little bit longer, but Don Artie gets in there. Once again, he's looking for more villager kills, and good game gets called. Smelly Deli knows it's over. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, go check out Don Artie, a good friend of the channel, and of course, a great player, a marvelous player. I love watching the Don, and he's pulled one out again today. I think French trade is the future of the French, and I think this may take them very, very high. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.